Hey, hey, hey. This is Change Bill's Authenticity Podcast. I am your host, James Zetta James. Change Bill's Authenticity Podcast will transform your being by stepping into authenticity. Get ready to unravel, walk in freedom, and renew your own spirit. Becoming authentic starts with walking in your truth. May the life that you live be an example of how you show up in the world. Our mission here at Changeville's Authenticity Podcast is just that. CHANGE. It is the method used to help individuals transform their life, change your mindset, humble your spirit, aim to achieve, accept, and adjust your life accordingly, be nice to others, and be grateful and have an attitude of gratitude. Empower others by telling your story. Yes, yes, yes. This is International Women's History Month. Women's History Month it is. And we have today Lexie Skordahl, all the way from
Hi.
Washington, hunting. Woo! Who coming on to tell us all about her story, about her walk into the medical careers industry, living a life as a ultrasound specialist. Let us go ahead and take this episode, which is episode 10. Welcome, 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 Lexie. Thank you for coming to Change Bill's Authenticity Podcast.
Thank you so much.
Go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you.
Yes, my name is Lexie. Thank you so much for having me here. This is very exciting. I started my journey back in high school of being a kid that has no clue what I wanted to do with my career and with my life and all that business. And so just a lot of job shadowing around the medical field. I knew that's kind of what I wanted to get into, but I just didn't know exactly what. So this is why I really highly recommend job shadowing, and not just in medical careers. You know, if you're interested in doing other things, just go ask and job shadow at least for a day, just to see what, how they do their career and if this is something that you would be really interested in. And so that's what I did. I ended up job shadowing ultrasound and fell in love with it. And I was like, I can see myself doing this for my career and the rest of my life until retirement. So, and then I just kind of started the process, and here I am.
And that's awesome. I think the healthcare careers industry is a very good industry for several individuals to
Mm-hmm.
be a part of. I mean, it's open 24/7.
Yeah.
It has three shifts embedded into it.
Yep.
I mean, you can work 365 days out of a year.
Yeah.
So it's just always open where
Mm-hmm.
anyone will have a job. So it's so many careers, and I'm grateful about the ultrasound industry because it's really so many fields to go into and specialize
Mm-hmm.
in. And I want to say that this is an amazing career for a lot of students who don't
Yeah.
know what to do with themselves. And
Mm-hmm.
can you talk about how, I know you just talked about how you showed up and how you started this career. How rewarding has it been for you to be a part of this industry?
Oh gosh. Yeah, very rewarding. So if you're somebody that wants to come in, save lives, really help patients, I mean, ultrasound is so up and coming because just our impact on patient care anymore is just fantastic. Our machines are getting better and better. We're able to see just micro things. So like nerves, we're able to see nerves now, which just 10 years ago was not ever going to be a thing. I mean, it's just phenomenal. So yeah, it's amazing the field that I have chosen because it's very rewarding in that way that I get to help patients in the diagnosis of, I specialize in breast. So I get to help with patients with breast cancer and finding that breast cancer. And then we are also helping in the process of doing breast biopsies. And then we send that off to lab, comes back, get the results, and then says, oh, no, it's not cancer. This is something benign. You don't have to worry about it anymore. Give that patient that sense of relief that it's going to be okay. And then we're also part of that process of, yes, unfortunately, this is cancer, but we're going to get you on the pathway to get this removed. So you're going to be okay. So
that's awesome, because I remember when I had to have my first breast mammography, and they did see something, and so the tech was just so amazing. It's really nice to have someone who not only is in the career but is compassionate about the work that they're doing and caring for others in the field. And so when they saw the benign tumor that they saw, it was just they I had to come back, take another one. It was the compassion of the tech that got me through, like, oh my God, I got cancer. And
right.
so she explained to me that sometimes they see things, and it could be artifact, sometimes it could be like a cyst. And she just walked me through, and don't she helped me understand, don't jump to cancer automatically. So when I came back, the
Right.
radiologist, they were able to look at my exam, and there was nothing but a old scar tissue that was in there. So I was just grateful, but it was the tech, the compassion of the tech, that helped me get through the diagnosis that I thought I had.
Right.
So, I mean, not only do you go into it, but your compassion for the field. Can you touch a little bit about how you all and your boss bring people into like the industry? What kind of key um, character, personality trait that you're looking for to be in this specific type of a field?
Yeah, for sure. So that's exactly what we're looking for. We're looking for caring and compassionate people. The reason for that is because, like you just said, everyone immediately jumps to, oh, I have cancer. And we really, part of our job is, of course, diagnosing whatever your problem is, but then it's also trying to help you mentally get through all this process as well. Because cancer is really hard to deal with. There's a lot of different emotions that somebody will go through till they finally get to the point where they're like, okay, yes, I have cancer, and we're going to just start getting treatment. We're going to get rid of this thing. And so, yeah, so that's what the kind of people we're looking for is, who can talk to these people really well, make them feel okay. And it's really about educating patients as well, because a lot of the times it's the fear of the unknown. So when I have patients come in and get a biopsy done, I try to really explain that this is a really easy process. So you want somebody in healthcare that's really good at communication as well. That's a really big key factor in healthcare is communication. So knowing your stuff, of course, yes. Having a good positive attitude, yes. And then just really good communication with patients and, treating everyone really well. And some people need a little bit more communication of what does my future look like? And so anytime that I scan a patient that, hey, we need to biopsy this mass, I always kind of give them an idea of what the biopsy is going to look like. Because a lot of the times, patients think that they're going to surgery, that they're going to be, put to sleep, and, the anesthesiologist will be there and it's a whole ordeal. But no, that's not it at all. So I really try to clear up any questions that they have before coming in. And then when they are here for the biopsy, it's just kind of repeating that. Because it's amazing when you're scared, how much you forget. So that's the kind of people we're looking for.
This is great. So I like to mentor third graders all the way to adulthood,
Mm-hmm.
college students, and going into healthcare careers. If a third grader, what kind of advice would you give to a third grader who was interested in going into ultrasound.
Come hang out with us for a day. We love having people come and shadow us, and we love teaching other people about what we do with our profession, because there's so much to ultrasound that people don't know. So it's all about just teaching that, because when people think of ultrasound, they think that we scan babies, which yes we do. We scan babies first, second, third trimester, but we do so much more too. We do a lot of procedures every single day. You know, we really help people. So people that are having, for example, liver failure, we help those people with those treatments. And there's many procedures that we do for that. So it is a very cool field. And we could definitely explain that to third graders. I think they'd think it's really cool too, especially probably the procedures. I think they might find that cool.
Yeah, they're into technology, so a career that is really up and favorable for this group of individuals now, because this generation love technology, and to
Mm-hmm.
combine a career that also has technology introduced to it, I think
Mm-hmm.
that this is the right time to engage those students at that level to want to be exposed to a career as
Mm-hmm.
ultrasound. And you said it very well. So many body parts that
Yeah.
ultrasound does. As a
Yeah.
nurse in the profession, I have to read the results. I have to review all the ultrasounds. I look at read ultrasounds of the chest, all the different organs. So it
Mm-hmm.
is an amazing field to be into. And I want to say that when I had grown up, this career was never offered to us. It was
Mm-hmm.
always like a nurse, a doctor,
Right.
a lawyer, a teacher. This profession didn't exist back then. And I think that students today really need to tap into these careers, because even in the school system today, they don't even talk about this type of career.
Right.
Like, who's doing what is a radiologist? Who's reading the results and all of that?
Mhm.
Can you talk more about that as well? So when you perform the ultrasound, who's responsible for reading that?
Right. Yeah, you are so spot on with that. Ultrasound is one of those things that never gets brought up in communication of, hey, this is a really good career. You should check it out. But that goes the same thing with like CT, MRI, mammography. Like nobody really thinks about these things until you actually go get one. But yeah, when you're in high school, you're in college, this never really comes up as like a conversation. And it's a fantastic field to get into. Just radiology in itself is great. To answer your question about who reads these exams, so those are radiologists that read these exams. So they read ultrasound, CT, MRI. They read all the different types of modalities. And they are doctors. They go to school for a very long time. It's a very, very challenging profession to get into. The other thing is that they are also interventional radiologists, which means that they are doing the procedures as well. So they're going to be doing, you know, all the procedures, paracentesis, where we remove fluid from the abdominal cavity. A lot of that occurs from liver disease. We'll do thoracentesis, which is removing fluid from the chest around the lungs. And then just a whole bunch of other ones. If you have a thyroid nodule, we can stick a needle in it and biopsy it. They do the breast biopsies. We
Oh,
just do a lot of things. So they're in charge of all that. We're there to help guide them. That's why ultrasound is so important, because they're not going in blind. We can see where their needle is. We can see where the lump is at. When we drain fluid from the abdomen, we want to make sure that we're not poking the bowel, the intestines that are floating around in there. And then it's so important to help with thoracentesis, the draining around the lungs, because we really don't want to puncture the lungs. So our job is so needed and so important, because this is how we help these patients feel better. And the other thing is that, if you're accumulating this fluid, we can send it off to the lab and figure out why this is even happening. So we're just very important.
Very, very important, because
Very
as a
important.
stroke, I work as a stroke. I used to be a stroke coordinator. I'm doing stroke research now. And so all throughout my career, I never was able to go into the lab. So the
Mhm.
interventionalists in the stroke, one of the stroke interventionalists. So I was able to see a thrombectomy. I was
Oh,
able to see,
that's cool.
all of these different procedures. And I was just sitting behind the glass like, wow, but the ultrasound individual was standing there guiding
Mhm.
the physician to go in. They were doing like a robotic way. They had like it was like a game.
Yeah. Yeah.
I went in there, I said, now this is why the men go into these professions. I saw a lot of men. It was like a game, like a
Yeah.
video game that they were using. I was like, what the? And the
We get
patients
that all
all
the
on
time.
the table. And
Yeah.
I'm just like, this is gadgets. So I thought
Mhm.
about like the people that they hire. And I'm just like, yeah, you got to have the best of the best. So
Mhm.
these doctors get to pick out all their toys.
Right.
It was a blast just sitting there like, oh wow, all the different computers and screens, and
Uh-huh.
it was amazing. Believe it or not, I never really went into the procedure rooms. We used
Mhm.
to go to the OR and do
Right.
all of this. Now it's procedural rooms that
Mhm.
they're building where they can do these procedures in IR. The
Yep.
interventional radiologist is doing a great job with all of
Yeah.
this. So
Yeah,
I'm
we
grateful.
actually Yeah, we actually just do these procedures in our ultrasound rooms anymore. So unless that, the patient specifically needs to go to like the cath lab or needs to go to OR, we definitely will travel. We can bring our machines with us, which is great because they're on wheels. So yeah, we still go to the OR, we still go to the cath lab, but what's so amazing is that all this anymore is really done just in our ultrasound rooms. So patients just come in as an outpatient, we do the procedure, they go home with a band-aid. I mean, it's in and out. It's so easy for the patients. It's gotten
Really
better.
outstanding. So what
Mhm.
would you tell third graders and on up? What feels that attracted you to go into this type of career? Like what subjects that you were good in, that you would have them focus on
Mhm.
to try and win them over and being a part of this profession?
Yes. So, anatomy was my absolute favorite class. I love learning about the human body. It's so amazing what our human body can do, and how, like, whenever you get hurt, how it heals itself, that whole process. In fact, our liver, if you cut off half your liver, the liver will regrow. It's amazing what happens to your body. So it's just kind of, if you're great at human anatomy or you have a love for learning about how the human body works, this is going to be an excellent field for you. And the other thing is, don't worry if you're not good at math. I'm not good at math, but I'm great at my job. So you don't have to worry about that. But as long as you love human anatomy, science, anything healthcare related, I think this is going to be a great option for you.
Good, great, great, great. So if I would say what is the most rewarding part of your job, what would you say?
Oh, I would say just helping the ladies find breast cancer. It's just that's the most rewarding part to me. I love specializing in breast ultrasound. I love women's health, and so I just love working at the breast clinic. So anytime I can help women get onto the treatment process to help get rid of that cancer, that's what I'm here for. Love it.
Good, good, good.
Mhm.
So let's talk about your book that you
Oh yeah.
wrote, Lexie. Let's talk about that. Lexie has a book, and I want her to
Yeah.
introduce her book and how you can find her book and how it can help all those teachers out there that is trying to find help their students find a career path.
Hmm.
You can actually purchase Lexie book. Lexie, go ahead and talk about your book.
Yes. This is my book.
Oh, yes.
I'm very
Nice.
proud of this little baby right here. Yeah, so my book, I wrote it because when people hear ultrasound again, they just think of babies, and which is great. If you want to come in, you want to scan babies, that's awesome. There is definitely a spot here for you. But there's so much more too. So I mean, we can scan the arteries and veins, all your vasculature from head to toe. You can go into heart sonography and just be an echo sonographer. We can scan every single organ in your body. And of course, we do all the procedures kind of like what we've been talking about. So we're just it's a very diverse field. Like you get to do so many different things and every day is different. The patients are always different. So it's really cool, especially if you're one of those people that doesn't like to have a same day every single day. It's a little bit different, especially with where you work. So I really wanted to write this book for people who are interested in getting into ultrasound or just want to learn a little bit more about it. But it also dives into, how do you get into an ultrasound program? How do you apply? How do you look good for an ultrasound application? Talks about the differences between accredited schools and non-accredited schools, something you should definitely research in. But also how to get your first job, a whole bunch of stuff. So I wrote that book because a lot of people, it's not really a conversation that people have like, hey, join ultrasound. It's not very popular, like nursing and doctor, like what you said earlier. So I really just wanted to write this book to help people get a full understanding of what they're getting themselves into. Because a lot of people, maybe you're kind of not a procedure kind of person, body fluids are a little gross and stuff like that. So I really wanted to dive into that and help make sure that you really know what you're getting yourself into before you join, because getting into healthcare, it can be rather expensive getting through school. And I touched base on that too, because anyone can do it if you really want to do it. There's, ways to help you financially get into it. There's cheaper ways to do this as well. So it's taught in both 4-year universities and community colleges. So that right there, depending on where you go, can cut prices in half. So yeah. So I really wanted to write that book for people, and I'm happy it's actually done pretty well. I'm kind of surprised. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. I didn't realize there was such a huge demand, but there is. There is.
You really laid out the foundation especially for these students that we have these professional careers, and this career never comes up. I see it became very popular now. CT, MRI tech, all of these different fields, EKG tech. I mean, those are excellent careers to go into.
Yeah, excellent field.
Not know. Where can you find your book? Where can they find your book at?
Oh, yeah. So you can find it on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. If you're trying to find my book on Amazon, if you just type in ultrasound book, it comes up on the first page. So my book is just called Ultrasound, and then the subtitle is A Guide for Prospective Students on Becoming a Sonographer. So if you're looking me up on Barnes & Noble, you'll want to put in my author name, because there's a lot of books on Barnes & Noble, and it's a little bit harder to find. But yes, there's ebook versions and paperback versions.
Okay. This is really rewarding. I want to say that I met Lexie. I got to give a shout out to her dad, and tell him thank you for introducing me to your daughter. I met her dad when I was in Mexico. We were on vacation, and we just started talking about medical careers, and he really loved his daughter. And he talked about his daughter, and I was like, whoa. And she wrote a book, and I was like, oh, you must connect me with your daughter. And so I wanted to tell him thank you and give him a shout out for introducing me to his daughter. She is amazing. You did an amazing job. If you can give any advice for Women's History Month, what would you say?
Just follow your dreams. You can do anything that you put your mind to. It just, if you put in the effort, it's all yours.
Hey, Lexie, I want to say thank you for coming on Change Builds Authenticity podcast. We had a fabulous time. And if you all don't know, you need to go look Lexie Skordahl up and get her book, purchase her book. She is doing amazing work out there in the industry. Breast cancer, especially African-American women, is at a high rate of actually breast cancer. So if you haven't got your mammographies, You need to get out there and get your mammographies to make sure that you don't have cancer.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you all for joining us. And this is Change Bill's Authenticity Podcast. Happy Women's History Month. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lexie. I really appreciate you coming and joining us.
Thank you so much. I also have to give you a compliment too. I'm so happy that my dad met you too. I mean, you were such a nice individual.